Good morning.
Morning.
This is Martin Parker. Martin's a survivor. I tested the cancer two years ago.
2017.
No,
So
3 years ago. And he just lives up the road from me. So we got to meet while we were going through it. Offered him a bit of advice. But he's a good, strong lad. But have a quick interview, really, and see if you could tell us a bit about how you first got diagnosed, Martin.
I found a tiny, the only way I can describe it is a piece of grit on my left, was it? Left. Yeah. I hope. Went to the doctors. Doctor couldn't find anything, so she said, "Be packing." Wasn't too happy with that, so I went back again. Persevered a bit, got referred. It took about 2 or 3 months before I got the ultrasound, because the doctor said it wasn't really that important.
We're not going to mention any names.
No, got the ultrasound, and before I knew it, I was in with a urologist. Took the testicle out, and then got diagnosed with, luckily, stage 1.
Right. So when you obviously you persevered with it, but when they actually told you it was cancer, what do you remember your first feelings?
Disbelief, really. I always thought that I was indestructible. I was, nothing was going to get me. I was going to live forever, and we were expecting our second boy, and it was just a whirlwind of emotions. It was just surreal. It was, just stops you dead in your tracks. Time just seems to stand still. And you're sitting there and with a Macmillan nurse one side and your urologist next to you, and they go, "Yeah, you've got cancer," and you go, "Oh shit, things just got real." Oh dear. And then it's all the things: am I going to live? Am I going to see me second born? Am I going to see my first one grow up?
Yeah.
All them things go through your head, and they're still talking. But you have no idea what they're saying. Yeah. They're talking to you, they're giving you leaflets and pamphlets, and you've got no idea. All you want to do is get up and go. I got up, left the room. Obviously, the missus was in tears. I was in tears. I left the room, and that's when you first FaceTimed me just after. How did you get on? And I said, yeah, it's cancer. Right, what is it? And then you explained what was going to happen next, because I hadn't listened to them.
Yeah.
And then it was it was.
I can't remember doing that, actually, by the way.
it was. You told me what to expect next. I'd go and see an oncologist, which I did. He offered me the 2 choices of either surveillance or 1 dose of chemo, which I went for. And I remember this to this day. You said to me on the phone, "You'll be all right, but I'll speak to you in 12 months when your head falls off." And I went, "Piss off, mate. I'm a strong lad. That's not going to happen." 12 months later, Philly!
I remember you doing that, but I don't remember. Well, I do say to people, you can't go through cancer and one day and be all right. It gets you at some point.
Yeah.
And a lot of men won't admit that, but you do, which is great. But a lot of men go, "Piss off, Phil. I'll be all right." But almost all ring me within a year ago, and my head's gone.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, because it's tiring. Because you put a brave face on and you be strong, and that's draining.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing for me was 12 months later, I started having dizzy spells and feeling awful in myself and feeling drained, and kept going back to doctors, and obviously you think something's come back.
Yeah.
So that starts worrying you. And I remember being sat at work at my desk, and I started trembling, went grey, and I just went, "I've got to go. I've got to leave." So I got up, walked out. My boss went, "Where are you going?" I went, and walked out. I didn't go back to work for 3 months.
Right.
I went back to doctors. I spoke to my mate's mum, who's a nurse, and she said, "You're having panic attacks.
Yeah.
That's anxiety." And I went, "No, I don't get panic attacks. I don't get anxiety."
Yeah.
Went back to doctors and said, "Could it be panic attacks or anxiety?" And he went, "Yeah, it could be." He said, "Try these." 2 weeks later, I was feeling fine. So that was harder than the actual treatment for me. The mental bit 12 months later was a lot more strenuous. It took a lot longer for me to get over it. The operation was painful, but within a couple of weeks, my second born was born 4 days after the operation.
Really?
So I didn't have a chance for that to really dawn.
Yeah.
It was like, you can't drive for 2 weeks. Your missus in labour. Guess what? You're driving. So that bit was painful. The chemotherapy was unpleasant. It wasn't anything.
It's still daunting.
Yeah, but it was like hangover for a couple of weeks. It was just unpleasant. It wasn't.
So you had the one round of carboplatin?
Yes. Yeah. Which was unpleasant. It wasn't nice. I wouldn't.
Well, I've never had that, but
you've had everything else.
I bypass all that shit, mate. No, but that's what I try to tell people. That the psychological effect of cancer, there is no real, there is, but it's a lot better now, but there's no real setup for a man to say,
I'm having issues.
Cancer, my head's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to use medical terminology, but me and you would say to each other, my head's gone.
My head's fell off.
And do you think that was because you were trying so hard to be normal?
To be normal. I rushed back to work. I went back to work. I think, in hindsight, I went back to work too soon. With me second born being born so close to my treatment, I was very selfish in a way. I didn't want to connect with James. I didn't want to get close to James.
Oh, I understand.
Because I thought, what happens if something does happen to me?
Yeah.
Then I've only got one that I'm close to.
Yeah.
The other one's going to be close to me, and selfishly, I didn't want to put that burden on me or him. So I distanced myself from me second born for a good 6 months, and that was horrific. It was the worst thing I could have done. We're really close now. In fact,
he's the cutest kid I've ever seen. He was the cutest baby I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When I first went round to his house.
The milkman's a good looking
fella. He goes, this is me new. I was like, that is the cutest baby I've ever seen. He's like,
and now he just runs up and headbutts you. But now we have. I rushed to get back to normality. I wanted to feel normal again. I wanted to go back to being the man of the house again. So I went back to work, and everything was fine to begin with. And then all of a sudden these trembles came, and I'm thinking, what's next? What else have I got? Has it come back? I remember leaving work the last time I went before I went off for 3 months, and I sat in Starbucks at the bottom of Old Hall Street with my mum, bawling my eyes out, and she's crying, and she's going, "What's up with you?" And I'm going, I don't know. I just don't feel right. I don't feel me. And it just thought my whole life for 2 to 3 months after that just fell to bits, and it was all a case of me trying to bottle everything in, trying to get back to normal, and then my head going, hang on a minute, I haven't had a chance to process this. And then it just came out in all these symptoms that I was getting tested for blood pressure, diabetes, getting tested for dizzy spells, and there was nothing. There was nothing physically wrong with me. I was sat at Howard Park Hospital one day, drip out one arm, ECG on, and they're going, "Mr. Parker, there's nothing wrong with you. You are physically fine."
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, why do I feel so crap? And it was all up here. This was making my body feel terrible.
The brain is a strange thing.
Yeah, and it was all because I bottled it up. Even you ring me up, you're feeling all right. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Well, I knew, you see, because
I've been there, done that.
I've been
and I was going, no, it's 12 months, you'll be back.
I'm not saying I knew you were going to lose your mind or anything like that. You didn't lose your mind, but and no offence, I know from doing this for years and years, if someone's talking to me, nah, I'm all right, I'm fine, it's not.
Yeah.
I know that every person who's like that, and I'm not going to have a go at you, will eventually something will snap. And that's why I always try and stay in touch with people. Are you all right now? I like to say that it's only Martin really and a couple of other lads who actually ask me if I'm all right now. But How did you feel? You lost your testicle. You had the chemo.
Yeah.
How did you feel for checkups?
In what respect? The ones that I go to every...
The ones that you go to the checkups at the cancer hospital a couple of days before?
At first, I felt very apprehensive, very worried. Now I just see it as, it's like an MOT. It's like I've got to go and get it done.
Yeah.
I go, get my bloods done. One thing that I did struggle with was when I had the chemotherapy, they put the cannula in and they hit a nerve.
Yeah.
And she pushed right the way in. I'm screaming the place down. And then the head nurse goes, if he's in that much pain, you can't have that. So she pulled it out and I went, knocked the bottle of Coke flying. Next minute, I've got 3 of them on me, keeping me up in the chair. So every time I went for a needle after that, I was going, here we go again. But now it's just one of them things that, we're lucky we're in this country where we can go and get these checkups done
definitely.
Make mine every 4 months at the minute. Well, apart from COVID's kicked off, mine have been a little bit more spaced out since. But I just feel lucky that I can go in, get that checkup. I don't get a phone call to say everything's all right. So if I don't get a phone call, I'm pretty certain everything's going to be all right. And then I go back the next week.
Would you prefer them to ring you as soon as they know the results? Because they say, unfortunately, these days they say, we'll ring you if there's any good or bad news. Right? What they should be doing is ringing you as soon as they know and saying, good news.
Yeah.
Everything's all clear. So you can then crack on.
Well, they used to chase them
because we can think
the opposite.
They've lost the results.
Yeah.
And they've forgotten about me.
See, I used to ring. What's the cancer nurse? And
Tracy.
I used to ring Tracy and say, listen,
she's moved now, I think.
I said, can you find anything out for me? Or I'd ring my GP and say, listen, I want to know.
Yeah.
But the busy people, they've got all sorts going on. So now, because I'm at 3 years, I just sort of leave it until I go back. Yeah. Then I get the wimpiest handshake off the oncologist. And then he tells me everything's all right. See you in 3 months.
Which one's... Oh, it doesn't matter.
we're not saying names.
No. But the thing is, since Professor Clark left, who was like the main geezer, he'd ring you. He'd ring you and go, Morris, hello. I go, all right, Professor. He'd go, yes, it's me, Professor Clark. How are you? I'm all right. All results are fine. See you in 3 months. Enjoy your life. And that stopped.
Yeah,
that phone call, you go,
oh, thank God for that. 3 months.
Because he knew that people would want to hear good news as soon as possible, rather than sitting there, have they lost my results? Have they forgotten about me? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it to go back that way, but I understand, we've got no shame really, but I understand that funds are tight and doctors are under pressure. I get that. But I think it still should be like that.
Yeah. I think, especially for people who are pretty new to it, the first 12 months especially, they should get a phone call to say everything's fine.
But, I mean, like I said, the psychological effect, they don't realise. The stress of the first year, maybe. Like little things like a phone call saying you're fine helps.
Yeah, it would, instead of you having to chase them thinking, am I all right? Yeah. I mean, I've just had my 3-year CT scan a couple of weeks ago. So it's gone.
You drank it?
Yeah. You only make half a cup.
That's me, I'm shaking. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, so I've just had my 3-year CT scan. I've got my bloods on the 26th, and then I've got a phone consultation the week after that.
But how looking back now, from when you got told to now, what jumped into your head that was the worst thing?
The worst thing was the head falling off.
Yeah.
The whole experience, the worst bit was that, because even though there's no good thing about having cancer, the good thing about when you're being diagnosed is you've always got an appointment. You've always got something to look forward to. There's a plan in place. You know what's happening next. They'll go, right, we're taking your testicle, and you go, right, okay. And then after that, you'll come in to see so-and-so. After that, you'll come in to see so-and-so. You'll have your chemo, then you'll have this. Then once you've got, they go, right, you'll do all clear. See you in 6 months. Yeah. You go, wow.
I remember that.
What next? And they go, nothing. That's it. Well, I've been in hospital every week for the last 3 months. It's got to be something else. No, that's it. See you later.
Push that into the bit. Yeah, I remember that twice.
And then you sort of go, well, right, okay. And then you go, right, get yourself back to work. So you go, all right, okay. You go back to work and you get yourself into a stressful situation at work. You're already trying to bury 3 months of crap. And then 12 months later, as you said, something snaps and you go on a wobbler.
Yeah. Which was the reason I set this up back 2003, I think it was. It's because my head bent and I had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And if somebody had said to me, say you'd had it for years and I was here and you rang me and said, it's all right to be upset. Don't, you're no less of a man if you're crying, that sort of stuff. I thought there was something up with me because I'd cry, and sit alone in the front room, and every fucking advert on the telly is cancer research.
Oh, bloody
as soon as you get cancer, you watch a telly, every advert is about cancer. You go, oh my God, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
I was lucky because I went to work. I was working with a fellow called Keith Warlow. He was an ex-squaddy, and when I told him I found a lump, he put me in touch with Mick, who then put me in touch with the group and yourself.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't have found that avenue, I don't know whether I would have done that. I'd have been on my own, and it had been my mum or my wife coming to me, and even though they're trying to be there for you, you're on your own. You're going through it pretty much on your own, or you feel like you are. So it was nice to get the phone call, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to be all right. This is the one that you want. If you're going to get it, you want stage 1, and this is what you want. And then I rang you up and you went, yeah, congratulations. I was thinking, congratulations? Fucking cancer? What am I getting congratulations for? Pat on the back.
Yeah. What do you think, plugging us a little bit, does it help to have a group and something sort of it?
Yeah, 100%. And I've made friends for life from the group.
Yeah.
There's a couple of you.
Who? Not me.
Yeah. Well, come here for a coffee and play with your cat. So.
Why are you mopping up?
Yeah, there's a couple of lads that I now think is really good friends.
Right. So what would you say to somebody in your position now when you first got... If you went to talk to someone who'd just been diagnosed, what advice would you give to a young lad who's just been diagnosed? Mentally,
just take it slowly. Don't rush things. Don't try and get back to normal. Things you're just going through are not normal. You can't rush back into it. You've got to let your head catch up with your body, because your body gets through it, and then you think, I'm fine, I'm going to be all right. But your head's 2 months behind you. So your body might be all right. You might be cured. You might have had all your treatments, but your head still needs time to process it. So even though your treatment's over, I'd recommend that if they weren't going, they didn't have to go back to work financially, stay away for a bit. Let yourself have some time to yourself to catch up. There was a lad on there not so long ago. He works in Port Sunlight, and I said the same to him. Don't rush back into it, because you'll end up like me in 12 months' time, sitting in a Starbucks with your mum, pouring your eyes out for no reason whatsoever, or you don't think there's a reason. Just let yourself process what you've been through. It's a horrific time. Even stage 1, it's horrific. It's nasty.
Oh, no, psychologically, yeah. So you were given tablets?
No.
No.
The doctor. For when you... Yeah. I'm still on them.
And did they help?
Yeah.
Do you know what they're called?
Citralopram.
Citralopram.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah. 20 milligrams. Yeah. I tried coming off them about 12 months after I went on them, and the symptoms started creeping back in, so I was like, sorry, stay on for a bit longer.
Yeah. So and they're working?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you think that's helped with when your head wobbled a bit? Did you actually all of a sudden say, my head's gone because maybe I've been too brave about the cancer?
No, it wasn't. There was no light bulb moments. It was... I went to the doctors. I spoke to you guys. I went to the doctors. The doctor said I had vertigo at first, which I didn't. I am not scared of heights at all. Then I got sent to a counsellor. I went to the counsellor. I sat in this counselling room for a week, for 5 weeks, I think it was, 1 day a week. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is weird, this. And they're all absolutely balls, absolutely loony. And at the end of the 5 weeks, I pulled the counsellor to one side and said, listen, this is why I'm here. And she went, you're on the wrong course. I've been on the wrong course for 5 bloody weeks.
So what were you talking about?
They were just all happy. It was all about
childhood.
It was all about, you know, if you've got an issue, put it in a mental box, yeah, and then put the box on the side, and at the end of the week, have an hour of worry time and worry about. I'm sitting there going, this is weird. This is not me. This.
I'm not trained in it, but I'm thinking.
And these were all, and then we'd have meditation. It was bizarre.
Oh, my meditation, yeah, but all right.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But at the end of the day, a bloody good rant to a survivor,
yes,
helps more than that.
Yes,
would you say?
Yeah, yeah.
So me talking to you, it doesn't matter who we are, but
somebody
who understands.
Someone who understands, who's been there, who's been where you are, who's felt the feelings that you're feeling. You know that you're listening. You know that you understand. Instead of me sitting there, I could talk to my wife all day. She's lovely, my wife, really could, but she's not been there. She doesn't understand. She tries to, but until you've been sat there in that chair with the Macmillan nurse there and your doctor there, and they go, "You've got cancer," and your whole world just go. I
remember it well.
Yeah, it's a very surreal time and quite humbling as well. You realise you are human.
You are mortal.
Yeah, you're not this.
Older people get cancer.
Yeah, old people.
What, are you sure? What? How old were you?
32.
So I'm still young.
Yeah.
So well on.
But
had you ever checked your testicles before? Were you aware of the age?
No, I wasn't aware of the age. To be fair,
because it is common in your.
Yeah, I'd found a cyst years ago when I was about 18. And I had an old doctor, and he said to me, "What's your date of birth?" And I'd say 9th of February. He said, "Right, on the 9th of every month, I want you to get a shower and check your plums."
That's good.
And I remember him telling me it, and then 9th, or as close to the 9th as I remembered, at least once a month I checked, and I found it, and because I knew what I was feeling.
So you found it because you regularly checked?
Yeah.
Oh, right, got you.
Yeah, because I knew what I was feeling for.
Well done, that doctor.
It was... I knew it shouldn't be there because I'd been checking them since I was 19. I was like, that's not normally there. That, and it was like a little grain of sand. It was like all grit. It was dead tough, really small.
Yeah.
But I knew it shouldn't be there, and it's because that doctor said on the 9th of every month I want you to check your plums.
And you got it early because of that. That's one positive.
Yeah.
So over everything, is anything positive come out of it?
The friends that I've gained is probably the biggest one. The group of lads that, you know, when we go out for Christmas, we go to boxing or whatever. That's the major gain of it.
Well, you all go out.
Yeah, you're normally working. Yeah, and then you take it out.
I work in boxing, by the way.
And then you give us a lift.
Yeah, and I give, after the boxing has finished, I give them all a lift home. They're all drunk.
Yeah. But it's given me a better outlook on life. Yeah. You know, life's too short to worry about material things. I mean, at first it was, I want the big telly, or I want the nice car, and now it's just like, you know what?
Want the telly to work?
Yeah, as long as the kids are happy and they're healthy and the wife's happy and healthy, money doesn't matter anymore. I mean, it's nice to have a bit.
I mean, it does help.
Yeah, but it's not the be all and end all anymore.
True. Well, last question actually. Like I've got you here saying about your kids. You've got 2 lads.
Yes.
Who are 8 and
7 and 3.
Right. At what age would you think, right, I need to? All right, lads, Daddy's had this, and because we don't know if it's genetic.
Yeah. I've already been speaking to Jack about it. Nothing too intense, just, you know, because he realised there was something going on when I was off.
Yeah.
So I've already spoken to Jack, but I'd say probably that just after 10, 11, that would be the ideal time when they start listening. James, at the minute, you could say, yeah, you know,
He's too busy hitting yours with a bat.
Run up and headbutt you. That's just the way he is at the minute. Jack will listen to what you've got to say, but I think it's too young to be drumming anything into them, and you don't want to scare them away.
Obviously, yeah, you don't want to scare them away. But I've got a son, but I always thought, if it's genetic, at what point do I say you need to start checking your testicles? I still don't know when's the proper time, because obviously,
Depends on the child, doesn't it?
But when maybe when you're about 13 to 15.
Yeah.
Because I think we should sit our lads down, or our kids, and say, you need to talk to me about anything. But there's this story I tell you, and this is hilarious. I was in the army with and the physical training instructor was a Geordie called Dave Brown. He's the funniest man you've ever met. He's a little skinny Geordie, fit as you like. And we went on our army reunion, and he come over to me and he goes, "Hey Phil, I've seen or Scouts as he calls it. How many Scouts I've seen you? Which seat you know?" And he goes, "We had a scare. He had a scare with his son. His son found a lump." And I went, "What happened?" And he goes, "I don't know if it's just Geordie, because no Geordies are salt of the earth, aren't they? They don't care. I made my son get on the table." Right, if you imagine this in a Geordie accent, he's telling me, and his son was 15. I made my son get on the table, drop his pants, and lift his penis up, and I felt for him. That's how close he is with his kids. And he's going, I can't, can I feel nothing nearly? He's going, "Oh, Jan, where are you? Right,
Was he?
And I said,
"Is he from Ireland?"
Well, Geordie. But I was saying, your lad's on the table, you're feeling his nuts. And he's going, "To the a bit, Dad." And he's going, I can't even feel nothing, son. And he wasn't bothered, and he wasn't embarrassed. And he goes, "No." That's how he's brought his kids up. They can talk to anything about him. And I'm stood there.
There might be a lawsuit in there somewhere.
I'm stood there with a pint, and he's telling me this, and I'm trying not to laugh. Because I'm going, "Oh, you've done the right thing there. Oh, that's incredible. You're that close to your son." But it turned out to be nothing. But at first you think, Jesus. But then you go, how amazing is that? Like, your lad can go up to you and say, "Dad, I found the lump." And I go, "And I'm not sure of it. I'll have a check for you."
Yeah, there is that.
No, but it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, I've found since I've come back to work, I am now the resident person to talk about with. As soon as someone's got a problem, they'll come knocking on the door and go. In fact, I've had one go, "What do you think of this?" And he's literally in the toilet, whipped it out. I've gone, "Right, okay. Well, it's not cancer, but it shouldn't look like that." Yeah. I think you've got something totally different.
Yeah, people do start coming. The thing is, that's the only thing that does my head in about cancer a bit. People will stop talking to you about football, and they'll single you out for, "Oh, my mum died of cancer." People will come up to me who I've known for years. They won't say, "Did you watch the footy last night?" Or "That was boxing." They'll come up and say, "Oh, my cousin died of cancer." They automatically come to me.
Yeah. And
you're like, "Can't you just talk to me about something else for once?" I don't know. That's a bad thing, really, but you have to accept it if you put yourself in a position.
Yeah.
But no, that's Martin. Thanks for talking to us, Martin.
You're welcome.
And he's now going to go and hoover my floor and do my windows because I've hurt my back. And
I'm not.
Maybe even a little bacon butty.
Not happening. The wife will kill me because I don't do it at home.
But thanks for coming, Martin.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. And that's Martin's story, so I hope you enjoy it.